Go. You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
Don't be fooled by what you see on social media. We are all tired, we all drink cold coffee, and we're all way too critical of ourselves. It's a mood, so stick around. Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show. Hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh my God, you're a mess.
It's been like 2 weeks since I've been able to say that.
It's so good to see you.
I know, likewise.
I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
And for those of you at home on Facebook Live, hello and welcome and thank you for joining us. And of course, this is the Breezy Moms podcast coming to you live on Thursday or every Thursday, streaming on Digital Stream Radio and of course on Facebook Live. And you can access or get access to the free podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcast, Google Play Music, and all the good spaces that offer podcasting for your listening pleasure. So welcome to the show.
All of that, I concur.
So it's been a while since we've been on the air.
It has been a while.
And and you're the mother extraordinaire, so we're going to be talking about some mommy stuff as we usually do.
I mean, it's just, tonight's a chit chat night, but first I wanted to say, look, I got t-shirts.
Don't stress, just breathe.
Hey.
I love it.
I was feeling inspired over the holiday break. And I was like, everyone has t-shirts. I want to have t-shirts. Breezy Mom should have some t-shirts. So now we have t-shirts and you can get them at breezymoms.com. So it's really exciting.
Yes, let's talk about that.
So I guess we should also say that we have a website now.
So you launched a website.
I launched a website because I felt like after a year we should have a website.
That's right.
So now we have a website, and in about a week I read and learned about building websites until my eyes bled. I don't know. So I did a crash course in website building, which obviously I'm not a expert in website building, and there are plenty of awesome people who are out there building websites, but you got to start small. So
that's right.
I went and I found the things to make the website and put up a couple things and started with things that we've been talking, like sort of little things that we always talk about here. And you can find the show on there, and now you can find t-shirts. So
amazing.
Check out the website,
so
breezymoms.com.
Yes, look at you. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
So you have, I'm going to have to go check out the website now. I did see that you had posted something and it was a link to, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was the first episode that we did of the year. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the link and I was like,
weird. It was supposed to be a surprise.
I'm like, did this bitch just launch a website and not tell me?
I know,
surprise. Well, that's good. I'm excited for you.
I know. So I'm really excited. And the other thing, well, should we do, or else I'm just going to go off because I do. I always go off script. Should we do the show the way we usually do, or should we just talk about what we're talking about?
This is exciting news.
It is exciting news. So let's just roll with it. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm super excited. So I launched the website. It's called breezymoms.com. And I was just feeling like, I realized, I think that I'm on like a schedule of a life schedule where I just get really into something for like a year or two. And then I'm trying to figure out what's the next thing because, I guess that's how my brain works. I just get a little bit bored and I really like this and I really like what we're doing. And so I don't want to fall into getting bored.
Yeah.
And so after a year, you want to figure out, it's been a little bit after a year. A little bit past a year, but after a good amount of time, you want to think about what's next. What are we really doing? So I did the website, and then I was just thinking a lot of what I've been doing over the last several months is talking to people who are either starting businesses or have small businesses of their own and are just getting started. And part of what I hope that they feel like I'm doing and what I want to be doing is to be helping them get their stuff out there, like help people share their passion, their business, their product, their whatever with the world when sometimes it's hard to know where to start and where to go. You have to scroll to the bottom and then what do you hear?
No, you go
I
ahead.
hear something.
Yeah. I'll just mute. Okay.
So when you're just getting started, you have so much focus on the thing that you're doing and may not know how to get it out there, right?
That's right.
And so part of what I want the show to do is to help people get their thing, their passion thing out there. And now I've decided that it'd be a really cool opportunity to use the website, the breezymoms.com website, to also showcase and highlight all of the wonderful things that so many awesome women are doing around. So
if you're watching on Facebook Live, I have the
can see it
website
now.
on behind me,
I
and it's
know.
amazing. And so, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so now we're at the point. So he just pulled it up. I feel like I'm on the spot now. So anyway, I was trying to figure out a way to sort of separate it from Breezy Moms, like a part of it, but not exactly the same, because a lot of the women that I've spoken to are not actually moms, right? They're women, and we're also more than moms, right? We're all the things. So anyway, I came up with this thing. It's called the Echo Collective, and we actually have one of our guests, Emily, from way back when she was on like episode 7, really early when we started. She owns a jewelry business, and she and I have been talking for months about her work, and I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to start the Echo Collective with her pieces. And so we're featuring her here as this month's featured entrepreneur.
Nice.
And so you can go onto the website and see all of her beautiful jewelry there. And then the goal is that this section of the website will be populated with all of the wonderful people that I know, all the entrepreneurs that I know who are doing amazing things. So
that's amazing. And so you have links to this, to the merchandise, and you can click on it. Like, I'm going to click on this.
So for Emily's pieces, it's called Emily Rose Designs, is her business. And for that, you can actually buy them right there off of the website, and they will get sent to you. And I haven't figured out, right, because I like to build ships as I go. I like to build it as I go. I don't know exactly what the rest of it will look like, but maybe it's a link here that shows your stuff and links to your own website. If you don't have a website, then you could also post it on this website. I'm thinking about it as like a new age Etsy, right? Like,
that's amazing.
An Etsy for entrepreneurs. Etsy is a whole big thing, but sometimes when you're just getting started, it's a little bit overwhelming, or you might not know where to start. So come to the Echo Collective and we will get your stuff out to the world.
That's amazing. And so you have tabs here, for example, like your featured entrepreneur, you've got apparel. So of course, certain amazing sayings like we say here on the show: don't stress, just breathe. Another one here: plantains. Plantain.
Are you a plantain person?
Plátano.
Plantain. Oh, well, I guess I'll accept platano, but not plantain. It's plantain. It's called plantain, like mountain. Do you say mountain?
No, but you're not planting plantains, right?
There's no G on plantain.
So,
okay, let's stop for a second. I will allow platano, but I will not allow plantain. And I'm taking a stand. That's why I made the shirt. I've decided in 2020, I'm taking a stand. There is a right way and a wrong way. And platano is one of the right ways. And plantain is the only other right way.
Plantain.
No, plantain, mountain, fountain. Like, these are all words. You cannot just decide that this word is plantain. It just is not right. It's not right, and it's not okay.
I disagree, but you know what? It's your show. As far as plátanos go.
Yes, I said plátanos was okay. Plátanos is okay. Plantain is not okay.
Yeah,
fight me on it if you want to, but it's
no.
not
We're
okay.
not going to fight. We're just going to disagree. We're moving on. No, this is cool. I'm really excited for you, and of course, you've got a tab here for the podcast, so it really breaks down like each episode of the podcast. We're just going to have to make sure that you can link to the audio file. You
can. So you should be able to on the top.
Let's see. So it has Breezy Moms podcast.
Something's wrong with that link, but scroll down and click on
Continue reading. And that brings you over.
And then there's the link. There's a link for all episodes on iTunes or Google Play, and there's the immediate link for the episode.
Nice.
So I don't know what's wrong with that first link. Now I got to go in and figure out what's wrong with the first one.
Well, no, what we're going to have to do is have you figure out how to plug in your automated player. So when you go to the podcast page, it'll automatically have a list of your 5 episodes, and you can just click play. And
see, I told you I just learned how to make a website. Okay,
this is awesome. I am super excited for you. Super excited.
But that was part. I mean, that's part of what my intro was about, and what I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight was I don't know how to do this, but if I sat around waiting until I knew exactly how to do everything, it would be months and months from now. Because when do I actually have time to go learn how to be a website designer?
Well, honestly, that's how I started doing it. So I had never known anything about website creation or even podcasting and doing radio. And so what ended up happening is I think it was in January of 2016, I said, you know what would be interesting? I have this innate ability of never being able to ask the up. Like, I can't shut up.
Oh.
And so I'm always talking and talking and talking and talking. And I said, I'm not an ignorant person, and I typically have really good perspective on the world and what's going on, and I like to talk about things, especially politics and things like that. And I know I'm a very level-headed person, so I said, why not, get together with a group of people that feel the same way and start recording our conversations like we normally would around the table. And out of that was born our show. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? What is a podcast? What does podcasting do? And how do you get one started? And so I started doing my research and started with mixers and microphones, and some of the stuff that you see here, for example, like these arms and microphones, have been with me since the beginning. And, then computers and learning how to process and produce. And before you know it, we are 4 years into our podcast.
That's amazing.
This March 7th will be 4 years that we've been live on the air.
That's amazing. And you just have to start, right?
Yes.
Like that's the whole thing, and what I keep running into with people that I know who are starting their own thing. There's a fear of pushing live, right? Or going live, or telling people. And I talk to people, and they're so passionate. Like, I want to do whatever the thing is that they're doing based on just hearing about it from them. And they're somehow still afraid because we always think that someone else knows more than we do. But when you really love to do something, whatever that thing is, like, nobody does it better than you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're experts and blah, 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 but you're an expert of your thing at that moment, at that time, right? Like, and you should just own it and leap, right? Like, I remember when we talked to Keisha a couple months back, it was do it afraid, right? Just do it afraid, because you're not going to be any less afraid in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever, like, arbitrary time period you put on it. And so you should just do it now. And nobody's going to say, oh, like, that thing that she did, oh, that's so stupid. See, I found a typo, or I found a, like, whatever the kind of thing is.
Easily fixable
things, right? Like, that link is dead. I don't know what happened. It's supposed to work. Tonight I'll go look at it. Like, it's not the end of the world.
She'll be there until like 2 a.m. There's a reason why she can't sleep.
Right, there is a reason. But this, like, underlying fear that we all have, or that a lot of us, especially moms, or women, I don't know what it is that's like that does it to us, but we have this fear that if it's not absolutely perfect, that we can't put it out. And there's so many things that are out, and we've seen. I mean, I get an update from my phone every couple weeks. Facebook updates every week. Like, these things, they're not perfect, and we allow them to be imperfect, and we allow them to fix themselves.
And we still use them
every week, and we still use them. And Disney Plus crashed the first day that it went through, but people are still raving about it, right? So why do we extend that kind of grace to Disney Plus and Zuckerberg, but we don't extend it to ourselves? You know what I mean?
I agree 100%. And I have to tell you, this is some badass stuff here. I love it. It's just like, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's just that kind of thing. It's just been sort of like weighing on me, and I'm not immune, even though I'm here trying to like encourage you to live your best life and do your thing and do it afraid and do it anyway. I also have fears, right? I also have fears that I don't know how to like make a t-shirt, but like the t-shirt exists now. It didn't exist before, but here it is, right? Like I don't know how to do these things, but you just do them. And I hope that when you see me or other people start something, and even when they stumble, that your first reaction is not, oh, see, I told you, like, she didn't know what she was doing, look at her falling all over the place. Like what kind of awful person are you to do that? What you should be thinking, and what most people are thinking, is, wow, like I can't believe, like I wish I was that brave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I remember when you had your guest, Cherie, when she came on the show. Such an amazing, beautiful soul. She's very inspiring. She's always posting things on Facebook. But, you know, she was always the type of person that just wanted to be outgoing and share her message and share her feelings and share her happiness. And then, you know, in order to get there, she had to write a book about all the crazy stuff that happened in her life. And then she wrote a book, and it was out there, and it sold, you know, and you are a published author. It's like, you just never know, right? Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there.
It's
do
all
it
you can
afraid,
do.
do it anyway. Just do it. Yeah, so that's where, and then of course, as I'm thinking about this, it's not a new thought, right? I see the thing that my opening was a meme that I saw, is from a mom blog. I think it's the Connecticut Moms or Fairfield Moms. I don't know. I don't remember which one it is. But anytime I'm feeling those thoughts, like some meme pops up on my feed, I'm like, oh, see, I'm not the only one thinking this way. I'm not the only one awake at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Like, we all can't sleep. We're all trying to figure out what it is we're doing. And the other thing that I, over the last couple of days, I was watching the show on YouTube. It's funny how I think about YouTube as like network TV. I talk about the things I watch on YouTube, like shows like this show and that show. Anyway, there's a show on YouTube. It's called Impact Theory, and I really like it. It's a female empowerment, and they do lots of interviews of women. And anyway, they were interviewing this woman whose name is Radia Delvukia Shetty. She's Jay Shetty's wife. You may or may not know who Jay Shetty is, but he's like a mindfulness, self-empowerment, whatever kind of guru.
A coach.
A coach, yes.
Yep.
So anyway, it's his wife, who's like awesome in her own right. It's not just his wife. I'm trying to not talk about her as his wife, right? Because she's a whole person, a whole grown ass woman. But anyway, she was talking about the fact that sometimes you catch yourself looking at other people, and you catch yourself feeling jealous, right? Yeah. Jealous, or I mean, jealous is the purest word that you can say. You see someone who is living their dream, living their best life, whatever your like idea of what that is. But you see someone else doing it, the thing, and you can't help but feel a little bit of jealousy. And sometimes it's because you haven't figured out what it is that you want to do. And so it's not necessarily that you're hating on the other person. It's more that it makes you self-reflect and think, oh, look at them living their best life, and how come I'm not?
Not only that, an important thing that you need to keep, remind yourself once in a blue moon is that what you're seeing is the finished product, is the facade, right? You don't know what struggles that person had to go through to become successful or to appear to be successful. So, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that, your struggle is not going to be what's going to be front facing when you finally get to where you need to get.
So true.
And so, just look at it. If you look at it from that perspective, in the sense that no matter how good it looks, a lot of work had to go into.
A lot of work goes into
sacrifice, to get there. And so, put in the work. Do what you got to do, and then you can have your front-facing finished product. And whether that be from a personal perspective or a business perspective, we are always trying to put our best foot forward. When we operate in society, when we go out into the workforce, when we go out into the streets, we're always, let me make sure that my hair is did, or that I have my chapstick on, or that, these jeans look amazing. And, I don't want to be a raggedy mom running down the block. So let me make sure that at least I'm somewhat put together. And that's you making an effort to put your best foot forward. And so when you finally go outside with your kids and you're at the park and you're hanging out with your friends, you are putting your facade is your best foot forward. And but people didn't know how many like toys you had to jump through like over and how many stairs you had to run up and down because you're trying to get ready up here and your child is downstairs probably strangling the other one. And so you sort of kind of have to just make it work. But then when you're out and about, people see that facade, right? But it takes work.
How many times you threatened, we will go right back inside. We will not even go to the park.
Right.
I will not. I will shut it all down. Like I threatened that so many times. So many times you're just trying to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. I mean, even like I couldn't even make it here the last couple weeks. I've just been like, I don't know what I'm doing with myself, with my life, with my thoughts, with my, like, I can't talk to anybody right now.
But your determination and will to do things on your own is amazing. And so last week we were supposed to have an episode of the week before last. I'm not sure if it was last week's, but she was home and she said, you know what, let's Skype. Let's see if maybe we can get something together. And instead of recording a show, what we did was we went through a very high level overview.
Like a mini lesson.
How to set up her mixer so that potentially when she can't make it into the studio, she has a place where she can sit down and be able to communicate to the world and the people that follow her, her message and what she does, and I certainly love it. But you take the initiative to do that on your own, and that's amazing.
Thank you.
And so not many people would do that. They'd be like, no, I'm going to come into the studio. I'll sit my ass down. You do all that work.
It's so true. And it's a lot of times it's hard to see that yourself. You can't see yourself the way other people see you. And I often I have been realizing more lately that people see me a little differently than I see myself. I got the best compliment from one of my clients the other day. She said, I was saying, oh, it's tax season and oh my God, it's tax season. I have to like figure everything out. And she says, oh, but you got it because you're like the most competent person I know. And I was like, wait, who, me? Like, just...
Are you talking to the right Candace?
Well, competent? Holy shit. So, but I realized at that point that it's what matters, right? Like, even if I feel crazy on the inside, at least you think this is how I am, or how I think I am, but I don't know. I don't like. At least the forward-facing thing is the right thing, and that you can sort of fall apart. I think moms learn how to do that very well, and generally women learn how to do that very well. You're like, I imagine a video, and it's like a person inside, and there's like trying to get out of the multi-mirrored room, and they're just screaming, right? It's like, ah! But on the front, you're just like stoic, and you're like, hi, right? You're like a preacher's wife.
Again.
And your kid is flipping corners, like flipping over in the corner. You're like, please come and sit over here. Right? Like you just hold it all together so that you don't lose it in front of all of these people. But that's what matters. I think both things are important. It's important to have the appropriate face when you need it, and it's also appropriate. It's also important to acknowledge that you're not always that way, and that sometimes you need a chance to,
of course,
let it go.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the people who are watching the show tonight. Hey, hi, shout out to everybody who's watching. I see Anya is on, and Jocelyn and Miss Mia. It's so good to see you guys. Thanks for watching the show.
Hey guys.
So yeah, that's what I had on that's mostly what I had on my mind tonight. Just the fact that it feels really, it's still, and it continues. And no matter how many times I say to myself or to other people, like, you just have to do it. Like, it's hard. And I recognize that it's hard to just start to do the thing that you want to do, to share it with the world, especially if it's something that's really close to your heart and you feel like you've been working on it really for a long time, and you're like afraid to show it to people, and people are like, oh, that's stupid.
Take a gamble. Take a gamble, put yourself out there, because you never know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
And just, we're not endorsing them, or we're not endorsed by them, should I say, because it would be amazing if we were. But be like Nike, just do it. That's it.
I don't know where you're going with that. We're not endorsed by anybody. We're just out here saying whatever we want, which is the exciting part of not being endorsed by anybody. Just say whatever comes to my mind.
And also amazing that we're not FCC regulated, which means we can say whatever we want.
It's not the radio,
That's
so
right.
there are no bleeps over here.
So can I tell you a little quick story?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So when was it? I think it was New Year's for the week of leading up to New Year's, we were invited to talk to a radio station in Washington, D.C. It was, so, we had to call in, and we were all calling from in different directions. We got an email from them warning us that there are 7 words that we cannot use on terrestrial radio, and they spelled them out and everything, and it was hysterical. So, and I found it hysterical. So what we did on our show the week before we went on this radio, we started using the words like religiously. Like we opened our show with the words, and just to get it out of our system. And I was so like afraid because I can let out some like really bad cuss words sometimes, and I really don't think about it. It just happens. And so, but we were all well behaved and we survived. Mm-hmm. The show was for like about an hour and a half. And we were like, oh my God, we didn't swear. We didn't say the C word, which is one of the forbidden ones. You can't say tits on terrestrial radio.
Wow.
Thanks, Janet. And,
poor Janet.
I know, right? No, I'm kidding about Janet. But yeah, you can't say tits. You can't say the F word. What was the other one?
C word.
The C word. There was a whole bunch of words.
You're like, I don't even really say these words, but now that you say I can't say them, they're like
I'm gonna want
bubbling out to come out of my mouth.
And it was just pretty hysterical. So I'm trying to find the email that he had sent us, warning us.
Uh-huh.
Like it was a whole big like hoop to do.
But you made it through and you got invited back, right?
Well, not yet.
Yeah, Miss Mia is a childcare provider, and she's like, yeah, you should hear me after work. I know it's a thing, especially when you're a childcare provider and you have your own kids. A friend of mine asked, like, how do you manage taking care of other people's kids? Because like this person curses a lot, I curse a lot, like what's going on? And I was like, you just have to figure it out, right? You just hold it all together. And then as soon as the last kid, I'm always at my door going, is that everybody? Everybody's gone? Whew. Like let your gut out, whatever that is for you, right? Is that your cuss words? Is that your like pinches? Sometimes I have to pinch Emery, like just sometimes. It's not a hard pinch, but sometimes it has to happen. I'm not allowed to pinch the other kids. I understand that. So you just kind of hold it together until you don't have to anymore.
So here's what he ended up writing in the email. He goes, it's our friend Ed over at the radio station over in D.C. He goes, please remember that unlike you lucky bastards, we are FCC regulated. And since we are radio or terrestrial radio, all guests must read the 7 words the FCC has ruled you cannot say on the air. Please look over them and make sure that you don't say it. Shit is one of them. Piss, F, the F word, the C word. Cocksucker. You can't say that on terrestrial radio.
I guess we can say it here though.
Motherfucker. Or tits. And I'm like, really, tits? And then I started putting two together. I was like, oh, thanks, Janet.
Right.
And that's where I got that from. But I just find it hysterical that, it's like we're in 2020 and you can't say tits. You can see them.
Mm-hmm. You can.
Out in public.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed and surprised by all the, like, I've been watching SNL lately.
Yeah.
And the things that are now allowed on SNL, which is, reflective of what's allowed on TV in general. I'm not clutching my pearls per se, but I remember when those things were absolutely not allowed. So, I mean, we've gone really far in one direction to allow a bunch of like foolish words on TV, but are still like worried about people breastfeeding in public.
Yeah. Let's not even go down that road because that's going to take us into a conversation. I get so pissed off about this whole, anti-breastfeeding campaigns that people are trying to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, before formula and before anything else, that's the only way you fed your baby.
Yeah.
It is the only natural way to feed your child.
I don't even get into the conversation. I will whip out my boob right now if you like harass me.
No, but I don't need milk right now. I'm drinking beer. Thank you. But no, it's just okay. But anyway, why don't we move on to something else? Candace, I have a question for you.
I'm listening now. Half an hour into the show.
How are your beautiful boys?
Okay, so the boys are really good. It's been a couple weeks, and they like fill me. They just fill my cup every day. They're a hot mess. let's see. The latest thing was today. I forgot that Lincoln likes broccoli, and James made dinner tonight, and so we had some fish and some broccoli and some rice, and Lincoln took like the biggest broccoli on his plate and just shoved the whole head. He only likes the head, right? So he shoved the whole head of the broccoli in his mouth, and I was like, "Oh my God, look at Lincoln eating all that broccoli." Emery, you should eat some broccoli. It'll make you big and tall, just like Lincoln, because he's been obsessed lately with talking about like he wants to be 5. I was like, you can't just skip 4. Like he wants to be as tall. He's talking about when he's as tall as Lincoln, when he can touch the ceiling, like all these things. And I thought, perfect opportunity, eat some broccoli. You'll be as big as Lincoln. And he goes, I'm going to eat some rice and then I'll be as big as Lincoln when I'm 5 because I ate rice.
He is
and
your
I was
son.
like, what? Like,
He is your son.
he just totally sidestepped that whole thing and was not having any of it. And I just appreciate him for being him.
Yeah, he is your son.
He really is. I appreciate him. And then a Facebook memory popped up on my thing
I saw that
the other day. And it was 2 years ago when I thought I was going to be like the next Martha Stewart on Facebook Live. So I was doing these videos and Emery was only a year old. And it was like a 15-minute video. We were doing an opening of a like little passports thing. And I watched Emery in a way that I realized I hadn't seen. I don't really remember this day, but I was not looking at him because I was talking to Lincoln. And so I got a chance to watch him when I wasn't watching him before. And he is exactly the same person at 3.5 that he was at 1.5. He makes all the same faces. I asked him if he wanted to go to bed early and he gave me this look, like rolled his eyes at me and was like, no. Like it just,
not yet.
It felt like it was happening right now. And I had this moment where I was like, these little people are who they are and there's nothing you can do. Like all you can do is try to help and guide them. But from jump, they are who they are.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive. And I was like way deep in my feelings about it, but it totally made me appreciate him more now, seeing and like being like coming face to face with him as a 1-year-old. That's just, I mean, again, he's only 3, so there's time, but he is who he is. And I don't want to mess it up.
And I've always said, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding parents trying to guide their kids into specific professions, for example, like saying, "Oh, when you grow up, you have to be a lawyer, or you have
sports.
or you have to do sports, or you have to be a firefighter, or you have to be something that instills in children that this is the ideal work."
And the only option
for them, and not realizing that children have a really keen ability of honing their skills, what they're good at, and if you see something that they're good at, and you acknowledge that could be specifically tied to something that you may not think was where you thought your child was going to be, encourage it, because there's nothing worse than doing something that you don't love.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing something that you love, you're much more successful in life, whether that's on a personal level or, being an entrepreneur or anything, because it gives you an opportunity when you see someone encourage you to do something that you love.
So real.
Keep that in mind.
So real. Fan the flame.
That's right.
Fan the flame.
Shit, I'm adding charcoal, wood. Let's burn the house down, but you're doing what you're going to do. And there's nothing better.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
so good.
How often do we always hear, "Oh my God, I'm so miserable at work," or I'm this and I'm that. And you start thinking to yourself, if I had done things differently, what would I do? And then you start thinking about conversations that you had with your parents and, "Oh, when you grow up, you're going to be a lawyer." And you start looking like, these are the things that you wanted for me. But what about what I want? And had I gotten an opportunity to do that, would my life be different?
Yeah.
It's real. I mean, I don't think we always know exactly what we want, but it's very easy to figure out what you don't want based on what people are pushing on you. So
Oh, absolutely.
it's real. It's real. So Emery is who he is. What's the line? Like, I don't remember the line. I'm not going to try and butcher it now, but he is who he is, and I appreciate him for that. And then Lincoln is doing really well. He's
he's in kindergarten and we're like doing projects. And I'm just like, he keeps bringing home these sheets from school, these like worksheets that he's supposed to do. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't actually know the answer. I don't know what's happening. It's only kindergarten. So I had this moment today where actually me and a client were looking at his homework, and from the instructions on the homework, this client's a lawyer. Okay. We did not know what the worksheet was asking from us. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't we just do this so it looks like we tried? Because I have no idea what this math sheet is asking for us.
And it's probably the most simple thing.
Maybe, but they needed a few more instructions because it was so simple it was hard. So, I mean, it was hard. So it's been cool to watch him, and I'm constantly reminding myself, because I catch myself getting overwhelmed when it's time to help him with homework, that it takes a lot of repetition. He's only 5. He looks like he's 7, but he's only 5. He's still in kindergarten. It is the time for mastery, and so it means we're doing the same thing over and over again. And so when I'm like, he was trying to match the ending sounds. And I was like, but does map and sheep sound? No, it was map. No, it wasn't that. It was map and like gum or some other word. And I was like, are those the same letters? But I heard myself being a little short. I was like, all right, Candace, relax. He's only been here 5 years. And he's only been writing for 3 months. So like, let's give him a break. And it was just a moment for me to remember that I don't have to be like, he doesn't have to know it now, right? He's working on it, and I don't want to beat the excitement. Beat is a loose term. I'm not actually beating him, but like, I don't want to push his interest in learning away by being too harsh on him when I'm helping with homework. So mostly I let James help him with homework because James is super patient with him around homework. I'm practicing.
Hey, listen, whatever gets it done, right? I mean, if you're able to focus on something else and the outcome is still the same, he's getting his own homework in, by all means, why not?
Yeah, last night we were doing projects.
But you're right, your husband is
He's way
more patient than you.
He's way more patient. He's wonderful.
He is, indeed he is.
He really is. So, yeah, I was laughing at our whole parenting / like relationship style. The project is due, I think tomorrow is the day that they're showing the stuff. It was due on Monday, but it was like Wednesday and we were still figuring out what was happening. And so he put a holder, he like invited me to a thing on our calendar. It was like Lincoln's project. We have to work on his project. And he included like links for things that we were going to print out and all the things he had all set up. And I was like, okay, now I can, it helped to focus me. But just this idea that he was running like work, right? He was running the meeting like he would have run a meeting at work. He had all the pieces in the Outlook, the Google calendar thing, whatever. And so then it made it really easy for us to get it done. So he actually has a project for the showcase or whatever. Because there were times last year that he did not have a project and I felt super bad.
And now he does.
Now he does.
And he'll have his first project, and then he'll be able to display it, and hopefully it'll be successful.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. It's good. And then the other thing, I don't think we've recorded since this happened. The school had a winter show, and it was supposed to be before Christmas, but it was rescheduled to last week or something like that. And because I didn't remember or didn't think to do it in the moment and thought I would remember, I didn't put the new date on my calendar. And so he came home, James had picked him up, and he came home crying. And I was like, what happened? And he goes, I wanted to be in it's the winter showcase. And I totally forgot. And James didn't know about it at all because it wasn't on the calendar. And so as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, we're going. And we turned around and we ran out the door. We didn't even take Emery with us because it would have taken too much time. So we run back to the school, and we got back to the school just in time. It was the middle of the song, and Lincoln dropped his coat and just walked up on stage, joined the class in the middle of the singing of the song, and got to sing like the last, I don't know, stanza, maybe 4 words. But I was so impressed with him of like he didn't take a beat. He didn't worry about anything. He just walked up in the middle of the crowd onto the stage, stood on the end, and started singing the song. And I was so happy that we made it. Like, I feel like that was making it, right? We could have gotten there. It could have been over. even though it was in the beginning of the song, we made it just in time. And then we stayed for all the other things and whatever. And so he was happy, as opposed to like if we were in the house and he said the thing and it was like, oh, we already missed it. It's too late, blah, 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 blah. And so anyway, we got there in time. He was really happy. And I just felt like it could have been like a huge fail.
What happened to Emery?
Oh, Emery was at home. Emery wasn't his class. He's in pre-K 3. They weren't actually performing. Oh, with James.
Oh,
my God.
I'm like, wait a minute. We just left Emery behind and, we made it to the show. And I'm thinking to myself, where's Emery and with who?
No.
Okay. You went with Lincoln and you left Emery with James.
I left Emery with James.
Proud of you. Okay. Thankfully.
I'm not outing myself. Get CPS called on me right now. No. James brought them home and Lincoln came to me crying because he didn't know how to explain it properly to James. So James didn't know what he was talking about. And James saw the kids all dressed up in special clothes. And so he thought it was something special for another group of kids and not that Lincoln wasn't involved in. And when I saw Lincoln, I remembered what it was. And I was like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. We'll just go.
You're going.
We're going.
That's awesome though.
And that was like my, we're just going to push through. We're just going to get it done and make sure it happens. Because at least then it happened, or else he would have been super sad about it. And it would have felt like a huge mom fail. So anyway, that happened. But it made me, the thing about it and the thing about Lincoln that I was seeing in that moment was he, one, was able to explain to me immediately, and I knew what he was talking about. But two, when we got there was no hesitation. Like, I'm here. We ran here so that I could be in the song. I'm just going to go up. I feel like another kid or even me at some point, maybe not me, would have frozen. And you'd be like, oh, they're already on stage. I can't get on stage in the middle of the song, like.
He's like, nope, ain't nobody stealing my thunder or my sunshine. I'm going to walk right up there. Mm-hmm. That's cool though.
So it felt like a really cool window into him and his personality and his ability to push through in a situation. So I'm always talking about Emery, and Emery's personality is a lot more colorful and is a lot bigger and louder, and Lincoln is a lot more reserved. He's definitely a firstborn, and I tell him all the time that he's a first of a first of a first. He's first, I'm first, James is first, my mom is first, James's dad is first. Like, it is a heavy firstborn family, and all of that comes with a lot of weight and a lot of like characteristics that are typical of firstborns: high expectations, following orders, following the set path, like that kind of thing. And he, even at 5 years old, shows a lot of that. He's always helping this one or pushing or like putting together something. You know what I mean? Like he's showing all of those things. And this was a really cool way to see him sort of flourish a little bit.
So. No, not only that, it's like to have the courage to just show up halfway through the song. You may not even remember the words, but nope, I'm going.
Not in the uniform.
So it's like, here I am.
Here I am.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it was really
awesome.
Good.
It reminds me, when you look at some of these videos that people post on Facebook where, like, for example, a little girl that started crying, she didn't want to dance, and the father comes on and starts dancing with all the little ballerinas on stage. Right. That kind of stuff is cute.
It is really cute. And it's a good, I feel like I hope that I remember this for a long time, and thankfully I'll have this episode to remind me about it. But they're little, I feel like they're little markers that happen. And for me as a parent, it felt like an important thing for me to not, it was one song that they sang. It was 3.5 minutes. Like, I could have just.
And that might be something that he'll never forget.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Little moments are important.
That's amazing.
So anyway, that's kind of what's been going on. I think the website has been a big thing in the last couple weeks. Everybody was sick. In the last couple of weeks. Last week I was sick. I was losing my voice. The kids had the flu. The daycare kids were all sick. I hope everybody out there is taking really good care of themselves. opening up the windows, air out the house, Lysol the things.
Not only that, take certain precautions. We have right now, an entire country in crisis. About 11 million people have been quarantined in a city in China due to this new coronavirus that's going around. We've got one reported case in the state of Washington here in the U.S. And so now it's the time to really sharpen up on what to do to try to mitigate and avoid getting sick. Make sure that you wash your hands, cough into your elbow or into your shoulder.
Don't go outside with your kids if your kids are sick.
That's right.
It's okay to stay home.
Buy that little can of Lysol and spray your doorknobs and things like that. Things that people, that you often don't think you should clean, but that everybody touches every day.
Yeah.
And, and if you can, steam your toothbrushes and all that stuff because, you were sick yesterday, you wash your teeth.
Yeah.
You're not sick today, you're going to wash your teeth with that sick toothbrush. So, just think about those things, how you can sanitize and try to minimize the possibility of possibly getting something that right now we don't know.
It's so true. And and that's that big virus, but the flu that's going around right now is also bad. It's like 4 to 5 days of fever, and especially if you have a young kid has a fever for a few days, it can be really scary. So I
believe 26 people have already died of the flu.
Yeah.
Is it in Connecticut or nationwide?
I don't know.
I know that number, that's the number that I heard. I just can't remember if it was either, locally here or at a national level, but it's no joke. Being sick is not a joke, and take it seriously. And if you don't feel good, stay home.
Stay home. Keep your kid, I know it's so hard. Everybody needs to go to work and you're saving your sick days for real sickness, but this is the sick time, right? And, as a daycare provider, teachers, if your kid is sick, do not give them Tylenol and send them to school. Keep them home, get them taken care of. Make sure if you have to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. And then also if your kid is just is almost sick, also figure out a way to maybe stay with them or find someone to stay with them, because a sick kid needs
rest.
Mom, dad, somebody needs somebody in a way that a caregiver or a teacher can't give them especially on that first day of them being really sick. And so I really totally understand. I used to work outside of the house, and you have to save your days and you have to figure out what to do. But sometimes I feel like we're saving our days, and we're saving for what we think is a big sickness, and we're ignoring the medium sickness that's right next,
that could potentially
right
be something serious.
Yeah. So, this is a really tough time for everyone, especially if you're on the East Coast or if you're in a cold area, right? It's spring feels like it's forever away.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago on a Saturday it was 70 degrees, and then it's 12 the next day.
I know. But that's a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother problem. So anyway, it's the sick season, so take care of yourself, take care of your kids, run some diffusers, diffuse some essential oils, open the windows, take some vitamins, take some emergency or whatever the extra boost of whatever that you need. And then just find a way to take care of yourself and the people around you.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a good reminder.
Yeah. It's just insane. Just watch
and pay attention to how you feel, because I think sometimes even I last week by Thursday, I just knew I couldn't handle another day. I was feeling sick. All the kids around were sick. It's so sometimes we think we have to push through, and it makes you feel really guilty to take a sick day or to, you know what I mean?
I'm thankful she didn't come to the studio with all of what she had.
And that's what I told him.
I mean, even when I get sick, I always say, hey, Candace, I think we may want to cancel. You don't want to be here, because I'm conscious of the fact that she works in childcare and that my immunity is a lot stronger than it would for a child. And if she were to bring whatever I had that week home to her place of business where she watches the kids, it could potentially be catastrophic for the entire family. Right. Not only for her family and for the kids that she watches, but then those children's families, because they go back home. And so, there's been instances where I said, Candace, you don't want to come here.
Right. But I think that's the thing that we have, that we struggle with, I think, in our culture. You feel guilt about you feel like you're letting down somebody, or you don't want people to think you're not serious about something, or whatever the case is, you feel guilt about taking the time to take care of yourself. Again, we can get into all other conversations about sick days and healthcare and all that stuff, but it's important for you to really know when you need that time, because I took Friday last week off because I really couldn't handle another day, and I didn't think the kids could handle another day. And on Friday, I got so many calls from my clients who were like, "Oh, my kid actually has the flu," or "Oh, my kid is actually have this thing," or like all the kids were actually sick. And I was feeling terribly guilty that I closed for the day knowing that people have to go to work. But I think everybody else realized, that they were actually sick. So it's important to listen to yourself and listen to your body, and not feel guilty about taking the time that you need.
Agreed.
To get better, or to take care of your kids, or let your kids get better, or whatever.
Feed your body, feed your soul, and feed your mind.
The last thing I want to say is, did you notice my new haircut?
I did. She better work.
Okay, over the holiday, it was a long weekend this weekend. I went and got my hair did, and tried a new color, which
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's much lighter than the one you had before,
and it's everywhere. And it's
awesome.
Still not that light.
Yep.
I think it's called dark blonde, but my hair is black and was pretty dark to begin with, so it's kind of giving this like
auburn.
Yeah.
It's very auburnish, and I love it. Living for it.
I've given up on purple because I've been trying to make my hair purple for at least a year.
Girl, you gotta bleach for days.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna do that. So every time I try, it comes out red, and I was like, maybe I should just go red then.
Well, maybe you like, do you ever most times, actually every single time I've ever seen you, you've always worn your hair natural. Mm-hmm. But maybe you can do one little set purple, bleach it out, and then just sort of kind of.
I don't know. I'm afraid of the bleaching situation.
Yeah. But it's.
I don't know if I want to do that. But I mean, I guess I don't really want to be purple then.
No. I mean, if you wanted to, trust me, you'll find a way.
I would find a way. So anyway, I got this new cut and color, and I went to the barber. Can you see my...
Oh, she got a little design.
I mean, sometimes you just feel like you need a little oomph, it's cold. I'm still deep in SADS, right? Seasonal affect disorder or whatever. It's winter, and you just need something to pick you up. And so maybe you got to cut your hair. You got to put a funky color in your hair.
Speaking of winter,
yeah,
it's already, so we know the winter solstice was on the 21st of December. That was the shortest day of the year.
Oh, it's already getting lighter.
And it's already January 21st or 22nd. And that means that we're gaining light at the speed of a minute a day.
Ooh, that's what's happening.
Yeah. So by... I would say mid-February, we should already start seeing sunset somewhere around 5:30 p.m. or
we're
closer
getting close.
To 6.
But then, of course, the stinking daylight savings time is going to kick in
right.
and put us back into darkness again. So let's not think about that.
In the morning.
Or else I'll be spiraling again.
Then we'll have more light in the evening, and I much prefer that. If we were to abolish standard time and just stay at daylight savings times, I would be happy. Because I love having more light in the evenings. As soon as we fall back that 1 hour, I get so sleepy around 3:30 that it's I have to take a nap. And in the summertime, I don't take naps.
But I need the light in the morning, or I can't get out of bed.
Lord have mercy.
I need the light in the morning. Although these motherfucking birds,
I'm gonna get your spotlight.
have already started. They got the memo early, and they have all kind of meetings and conversations at 4:25 in the morning. Maybe that's why I'm awake at 4:00 in the morning, and it only gets worse as the sun rises earlier, or whatever the thing is. So,
what do you have, a nest by your window?
My neighbor has a bird feeder.
Oh,
right next to my bedroom window. Right in front of my bedroom window.
Do you have a BB gun?
No. No. So it's great because when we're having breakfast, we can watch the birds eating, but they start pretty early. So I see them pretty early.
No.
Can you move it to the other side?
Can you move it to the back of the house somewhere? Yeah.
No, it's good.
Sorry, neighbor.
All right. Well, let's wrap up because I didn't think I had anything to talk about. And now an hour later, I guess I had a lot to talk about.
See? It always
good
happens.
To see you. It's
It
always good to
happens.
see you and to see everybody. Thank you for joining us every week here on Digital Stream Radio, Facebook Live, and all the places where you find podcasts. So thanks so much for joining us and coming back. Please like and share the show because that's how people find us. And listen out. I'm going to be reaching out to especially the people who I've had on the show who I know are running business, have business and stuff to get onto our website. But if you have something and you would like to be featured on the Breezy Moms website, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it. I think that's all for me. I don't have any tips this week. I don't feel like I have anything to give. This week I was actually feeling, have I talked about my steam mop? I really like my steam mop. Go out and get a steam mop. That's probably my tip for the week. But today I was really upset, or yesterday I was really upset about Cheerios on the floor. Did you see that post? I was like, I will stomp every single Cheerio before I bend over and pick up a single one because my stupid vacuum will not vacuum up the Cheerios. Like every time I go over it, it like shoots it out backwards, and then I'm like chasing fucking Cheerios all over my kitchen.
So step on it, crunch it, and then pick it up.
No, and then you vacuum it up, and you don't have to worry about it. So I need to make that T-shirt. That's what's coming next.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't have any
there's going to be a lot of
tips.
good stuff that's going to be on the BreezyMoms.com.
It's going to be great.
So make sure you go check it out.
Yeah. I don't have any tips for this week because I'm just trying to keep it together. Oh, that's a good one. Yes,
Disinfect.
spray all the things.
Yeah, everything.
All right, so until next week, bye. This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean. Follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.